Well, chaps, what a week it has been for Chelsea fans. Potter's men winning three in a row for the first time since September. It's unbelievable. It's unfathomable to think of a Chelsea team not winning three in a row. But it's compared to where we was talking 2 weeks ago. It was all doom and gloom. And look at us now, 3 wins on a bounce. Let's get cracking into it. So we've got to talk Dortmund. We're through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, boys. I don't think anybody predicted on this part. Well, I did. I had hoped that we were still going to go through. To be fair, Temper's just like, oh, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I thought we'd still go through. But what a game! Like 2-0 winners on the night. Let's throw it off to Charlie. You obviously saw like the first leg. So talk us through in terms of like how are you feeling? Because you were quite adamantly, quite angrily Potter out, but you now. I remember having the conversations like, where has this Charlie gone? Because not only did you praise Potter, but there was players that was in the squad that you were just like, they played unbelievable.
Well, yeah, I'm probably a fickle Chelsea fan, you could argue, but I don't think so, because I think we played well above our station, didn't we, in that Dortmund game? I've never seen every single player on that pitch perform all at once in a game, and it was kind of like the Liverpool 7-0 against Man United, kind of similar to that in a way, that everyone just turned up for that one game, and it was absolutely brilliant. Cucurella. He was excellent. Koulibaly, excellent. Chilwell, God, I mean Chilwell. I think he's going to be. He's certainly England material, let alone one of the best left backs at the moment in the world.
Yeah.
I just thought the whole team turned up. And people that hadn't turned up in matches before, like Havertz as well. Really turned up, and it was. Do you know what? It was a night that we really needed, didn't we, as Chelsea fans? We really needed something from this season. This season's been a bit of a complete disaster from start to finish, and to have that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, what a night! And let's just see where it takes us. Not getting carried away, but let's just see where it takes us.
Yeah, it was an absolutely. I remember I was watching the game. I was banished to the bedroom to watch it in the bedroom from Belgium. I think I was in Belgium at the time when I was watching the game. Definitely not in the UK when I was watching that game. Yeah, it was just absolutely great. Like I thought, oh, it's fluffed across through to Sterling here, and Sterling's whiffed the shot, and I was like, same shit, different week. But that finish from Sterling, the composure, not only to just get the ball down when he fluffed his lines, and then finally get in the back. It's good to see Raheem Sterling get on the score sheet, as well as who scored the other goal? Havertz, and the penalty situation as well. I didn't even talk there. So Tem, I've been a vocal kind of critic of Kai Havertz in the last few weeks. I think I said he's stealing a living as a footballer, and I'm having to eat my words, eat humble pie in this scenario. But Temba, you're fairly level-headed. How did you feel off the back of that, and did you suddenly feel different going into the weekend when we went up against, who did we even play?
Leicester.
Mine's gone back. Leicester, there we go, boom, sorted. Leicester. Did it change your mood? Did you think okay, we're starting to pick up speed, we're going downhill as opposed to uphill?
Yeah, well, I will say it slightly changed my mood. I think it was a one-off game in terms of, that felt like the final of the season. It felt like if we had to perform, no matter what the next game was, and we did. Thank God, we showed up that night, and it was just about picking up momentum from there. Could we actually go to Leicester and now Everton and get some wins? Because it's all right saying you got Dortmund in the Champions League and you need 3 points, but sorry, to go through to the next round, but when you actually need to show up on a Saturday, Wednesday, can you do that consistently? And not just make it a one-off performance to make the fans happy, you know what I mean? And this season, well, I haven't got any confidence that we'd really be able to string a string of results together, to be honest. I thought that was a one-off. So I came on to see the game at the weekend, and it looked like we're starting to pick up momentum.
It definitely feels like I definitely feel completely different to where I was at the back end of that Southampton loss. Like I thought that was the lowest of the low, and we all were discussing like the next two games. I think Charlie, you said it was the games against Leeds and the game against Dortmund. They're crucial. They are absolutely crucial. Like if he doesn't get those points on the board, if he doesn't get us through to the next round, or at least have some semblance of a good performance, it could be Potter out. But he's kind of made us. He's not. Well, he's made the majority of Chelsea fans calling for the vocal Chelsea fans eat their words. Essentially, I think there's still work to be done, but it was really nice. I don't know if you caught the end, but right at the end of the game, like Potter, like going in front of the crowd and like geeing up the crowd and like giving that emotional connection that I feel like you've mentioned previously, kind of missing that kind of passion. That I believe the term that you say is proper Chelsea. Like, how would you make of that? Do you feel, have you softened to Potter, or are you still kind of apprehensive?
I don't think anybody can argue that Potter's a nice bloke. I think that's one thing that people can agree on. He's not a arrogant guy. He's not a sort of a guy who is really forthcoming. But at the same time, we want him to do. I think we want him to do well as Chelsea fans, don't we? I don't think there's anyone who goes, "Oh yeah, we don't like this bloke." I look at the fixtures at the moment, right? And I've got the next 5 fixtures in my diary. Everton at home, we should win that. Villa at home, we should win that. Liverpool at home is a huge test, but I still think we should win that. Okay. Wolves away, I think we should win that. And I think Brighton at home, we should win that. I think if he goes on a run, if he goes on a streak now, and he wins those next 5 games, which are winnable, they're winnable matches. I think that come the end of the season, I think Chelsea fans will give him another chance. Not another chance, but I think they'll give him a run into next season. And I think he should. I think he deserves it. I think he's been dealt a hell of a hard card. A really hard deck of cards. And I think he's laughing.
You sound exactly like me. Like in the midst of it, I don't know, Tem, you could probably agree to this, but in the WhatsApp chat that we have, you sound exactly the words that you're saying now is what I was saying like 4 weeks ago.
I'm a fickle fan, and I admit that all day long. But I will say something. He's been dealt a hard card. These next matches are his reckoning, and he's got a bit of momentum now. He's got every player fit. There's no excuses anymore. There's no Reece James is out, Chilwell's out, Fofana. I mean, Fofana's out. Fofana's brilliant. I mean, there's some really big players in that squad that have been out. He's got no excuses anymore. If he can win the next 5 games, I think he's got to be in.
Yeah, I definitely think that the next 5 games, I think we should at least be aiming for 13 points. I think 13 points is achievable, and like you said, the Liverpool game, we might get some at Liverpool a bit patchy, but then again, so are we. We're quite patchy as well. So, Tem, I think when we chatted about Europe, and we thought it was kind of a lost cause. I mean, realistically, what we can aim for is 7th. And with wins against Brighton, we still got Brentford to come to us, Brighton to come to us, Villa to come to us, all the teams around us where we can pick up those points. Do you feel more comfortable now about potentially Chelsea getting some form of European adventure, albeit to the Estonian champions?
I still think maybe Conference League is achievable. I'm not quite sure about Europa League. I think we need quite a lot of results to go our way, and we would need to win all the big games as well. I think that may be a step too far this season so far. I would say if we had a striker, I'd definitely feel more confident. I just don't think we have enough goals in us to see out the season and as well keep clean sheets. I'm not so keen on how we defend. I don't think we are so amazing solidly defensively anyway.
When you say you're not so keen, what do you mean by that? Could you just elaborate? Because I thought defensively, I think I put a message in the group that I said I don't feel worried. Like for the first time in a long time, when we've been defending, I've not felt like on edge and think, okay, a goal's coming. I don't know. What's making you feel that it's not quite there?
There's something consistent I've seen this season. Is a lapse of concentration. There's maybe like a period where we dominate for 20, 25 minutes, and then our heads completely drop. I would say Saturday was the only time I saw us pick ourselves up back again after we conceded a goal, because I really wanted to see us how we'd react after conceding a goal. And I would say if Leicester weren't so bad, especially that one chance they had where Kepa fluffed it, I think it should have been 2-2.
Yeah.
And it wasn't only that time. He's done it quite a few times this season. If teams catch on to that and keep, his weakness is long shots. If they keep sort of trying to bang the drum towards doing that, I can't personally see us winning many games, because it is unfortunately a deficiency, but it's something we can't do well to hide, in a sense, because I don't think we have a lot of height with only two tall centre backs anyway, and the rest of our team isn't that tall apart from Havertz.
Yeah.
So set pieces is where I really worry about, and it's obviously a big thing in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I was clocking on to some of the centerpiece, some of the set pieces that we had. We had like big Harry Suter, and I think he was being marked by, was it Chilwell? And Chilwell's no big guy; he's like 5'10", I think, and Harry Suter
about that. Just about
he's literally the size of Andre the Giant. The man is ginormous. I remember looking at him. I was watching the game with my dad, and I was thinking, he's an absolute ugly unit. He's like built like a double wardrobe. Like he's an absolute unit. But potentially, but I still feel that even in those situations, like I think there's always going to be a right time and a wrong time, but we're building momentum. 3 on a row. Like before then, we won 1-0, we've won 2-0, we've then scored 3 goals and won 3-1. Admittedly, we did concede, but the goals, they're starting to flow. Like maybe the whole striker situation's a thing. Confidence may have been an issue. Getting that win against Leeds and then going into that and then beating Dortmund in a game was a must-win scenario, and the teams seem to be building that confidence. I mean, we all play football. Like I'm a big confidence person. If I know I'm having a shit game, like I'm just like, I want to get off this pitch because I know I don't want to play. I'm not going to play well at any point because I'm in my head too much. Like for me, that an shining example of that is Enzo Fernandez, the chip pass through to Havertz and the finish from Havertz. And even I was just like, oh, he's onside. My dad thought he was miles offside. I went, no, he's played that perfectly. He's just caught the defense completely static. I mean, me personally, I feel more comfortable about us defensively. We still have one of the best defenses in the league. I know it's not on paper. We have one of the best defenses in the league. Like concentration is a big issue. Like the goals are the main issue that we're going. But we're showing now that we can put goals where, albeit against a very patchy Leicester side. But yeah, let's have a little look. So let's have a little think. Okay, so look back on the last 3 games, boys. Who do you feel that's really come into their own in that squad? It looks like we're seeing a similar team starting to form each and every week of certain players again picked ahead, and he's rotating other people to give them game time. But who do we feel is really coming into the fold, and they're a lock-in sure starter now, going into the games against Everton and Villa?
Chilwell, Fofana, Koulibaly, obviously Kepa, Enzo, Havertz, probably Felix as well. But I think apart from that, it's kind of up for grabs. I don't think Mudryk gets a start at every game. I don't think he was that good. I don't think Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Obviously, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, he's quite good because he's quite versatile. But ultimately, Reece James will take that position. Thiago Silva will take the position of Cucurella, and Kovacic. Long term, it's going to be Kante, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's. I think the one player that I've been, people thought it's a flop, and I remember you saying, "Like, oh, he's coming in, he's injured straight away." Well, not Cucurella because he's been fit, but it's Wesley Fofana. Like Fofana coming in.
I always said he was good.
But you mentioned it's like a bit of a flop because he's just injured straight away. I mean, at one point, in this season, you wanted us to sell Reece James.
I wanted to sell Reece James purely because but the reason was I didn't want to sell Reece James. The reason that I said about selling Reece James is because he's on a huge amount of money, and per game he has as much input as Lukaku, for example. Lukaku gets paid the same amount of money. Yeah, he does. You laugh, but he does. Do you think Inter Milan pay 325 grand a week?
No, they'll pay at least 50% of it.
Okay, so essentially, if you break it all down, Reece James probably is per game the same as Lukaku. This is what I'm trying to say. And again, it goes into the Mason Mount argument, which we'll have later. But this is what I'm trying to say. It's how do you balance it? Kante's on 250 grand a week, I think, something like that, right? He's played 5 games this season?
Yeah.
Right. Havertz has played every game.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, "Oh, we'll sell Havertz." Well, he's played every single game. He gets paid less than Kante. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So the wage structure's messed up as well.
The wage structure is messed up, but there also it is a wage structure from the previous regime. We have to factor that in as well. It is a different wage structure. It was implemented by
Reece James got signed up by Bowley, I think. I'm pretty sure he did. Did he not?
No, it was last season.
You sure?
It was under Abramovich.
Okay, fair enough.
Tem's usually the oracle when it comes to things like this. He'll probably let us know when he was signed up.
Reece James got signed up by Bowley, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's on one of the new incentive contracts. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, well, I stand corrected. Nah, I don't know. Like, I think he's got a hell of a lot more input than Lukaku is. If you're looking at like input for goal, like I think they're two different positions, so it's really difficult to compare the two. From Lukaku you expect goals, but from Reece James you expect assists, clean sheets, that type of thing. And we're ticking the boxes when it comes to clean sheets. But let's move on. Let's have a little think about what we've got. We've discussed what's coming up, but you mentioned the key thing here is Mason Mount. So Fabrizio today released that there's still a massive gap between what Mason Mount wants and what Chelsea are preparing to offer. And one can only assume it's going to be on the basis of these performance-based contracts that's currently been put in place. I personally agree with the performance-based contracts. I'm on a performance-based contract, albeit I'm not a footballer, but if I sell more things, I get paid more. So if you score more goals, you get paid more. You win more things, you get paid more. I'm behind that. Tem, I'll go to you first. Like, where do you kind of stand on this Mason Mount contract situation? He's running down his contract end of 2024. The links, some of the clubs he's linked to, it's pretty much every competitor in the Premier League. They're probably going to offer this money to him. Where do you stand on Mason Mount? Do you feel that the club should be going all out? And does he need to be put on something akin to this N'Golo Kante contract?
Well, I'm not quite sure where to stand. I don't think we should let him go, personally, but at the same time, I can understand the club stance from how they see it and how he sees it. I think he sees it as he's been here for many years. He's always been available. He's usually one of our best performers, whether people like that or not. He usually is. He's not one of the worst players on the pitch. And he's readily available, plays 50 games a season. I think he's almost on 200 Chelsea appearances. Yeah, people may look at his goals and assists, his actual stats. They're not so great, but when you are inputting to a Champions League win and several top 4 finishes and whatnot, last season where we won a few trophies and all that, I think he's got the right to demand the same as Reece James. Like, Reece James has not been fit like Mason Mount has. He's not played as many games as Mason Mount has. People may say, "Oh, there's a quality difference. There's a difference in quality," but being readily available is a quality in itself. He's always there to give 100% wherever you need him. Left wing, right wing, centre mid, centre back. If he needs to, he's just always there. So I think if he wants that high wage, that's readily understandable from his point of view. From the club's point of view, it's probably they're trying to lowball him a little bit, see how far they could probably push it in terms of keeping the wages down, because we do have quite a lot of players on high wages, such as Raheem Sterling, Koulibaly, and it's just about whether they can come to an agreement at the end of the day.
I think the Reece James thing, though, I think he has been offered terms in the same vein as Reece James, but just for argument's sake, so let's just say he's been offered the same amount, same performance incentive, maybe a bit difference based on position in terms of goals, assists. But I think he has declined that. I mean, Charlie, where do you stand on the whole Mason Mount situation? You know, he's come through the academy. He's proper Chelsea as it be. But where do you stand in this situation? Is it a case of, okay, see what happens in the summer? If we get a reasonable offer, maybe from abroad, do you take it? Do you think, okay, if he's not going to sign a contract, do we sell him to somebody abroad and then try and get him out of the Premier League so he's not going to come back to bite us in the bum?
I think it's one of these ones. It's a funny situation because if you look at, I would always say John Terry, right? If you look at John Terry, when Mason Mount was in the academy with Reece James and Trevor Chalobah and Loftus-Cheek and Tammy Abraham, a lot of these other players, they would have looked at John Terry as the pinnacle of what you can achieve at a football club. John Terry achieved everything at Chelsea. He won everything there is to be won. He got contracts that were fair. He was the highest paid player at Chelsea, despite buying players from all over the world. He was still the highest paid player at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think it's very demoralising for players such as Chalobah to see people like Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham just leave, as he probably will. I think he probably will. I would, if I was him, if I was his agent, if you're on 80 grand a week, which is what he's on now, 80 grand a week is a hell of a lot of money for, you know, the average Joe public. But in terms of football, 80 grand a week for a player who plays every single match, and you've got people like Kante and Reece James who play 15 games a season and they get 3 or 4 times that. I don't think it's fair.
But just for argument's sake, yes, he might be on 80,000 a week, but he's also not delivering each and every week as well. Like, you can still fill a shirt and throw a player out on the pitch. He's also not delivering. Like, in the same example, like Reece James might be on that higher amount, but when he comes onto the pitch, you know Reece James is in the Chelsea team because he affects the game. Mason Mount this season hasn't really affected the game. Like, is it?
Yeah, but Mason Mount hasn't asked for a new contract for the last 2 or 3 years. Mason Mount has been on the same contract, I think, for the last 3 years. So he hasn't asked for a new contract. When we won the Champions League, he didn't ask for a new contract. It just so happens that he's asked for a new contract at the same time that, unfortunately, his playing standards haven't been as good. And I think he'd probably accept that not even as it should be, but as he would like it to be.
Yeah.
So... And so that's it, is it? So we're going to punish him now. We're going to go, oh,
no,
right.
it just makes me worry. Just in terms of, say for example, we don't know the figures, but say for example he wants £300,000 a week, and he doesn't want to be on a performance-based contract. He says, regardless of games, regardless of goals, regardless of assists, regardless of us winning things, I want to be on £300,000 a week. And Bowley and co say, well, that's kind of not how we're going to do things here going forward. So what we'll offer you is, again, just an example, we'll offer you £200,000 a week. It's still a substantial amount of money, but if you can guarantee us at the end of the season, you're going to score, you know, provide 15 assists, 15 goals, and we win a trophy of some sort, we'll give you a lump sum bonus at the end of the season. What's going to happen if he suddenly decides? Does that mean when he signs that 300,000 contract with no performance incentive bonuses, he's all of a sudden now just going to switch on and become the player that we know that he can be? Like, what's, you know, if I'm a club owner and I'm seeing a player, a talent that's actually wanting to get paid the same amount that other players are, you're going to want that kind of input. You're going to want that impact. You know, it's your money that you're investing in the club, surely. And to be fair, I'm playing devil's advocate here, so I'm just.
It's not money. I think with footballers, money motivation is actually a lot lower than people think. I think it's you know, they play football because they love football. And they earn enough money to get. I say they earn enough money to get by. They earn enough money, right? Mason Mount earns enough money on 80 grand a week to be able to afford a really nice house in Esher, wherever he lives. You know, have a lovely car. I'm sure he doesn't have trouble supporting his family, right?
Yeah.
However, I do think that there is there is a thing of unfairness within, and it's in any company, right? So if you work for a company and you see somebody performing not as well as you, and you're performing quite well, or you have performed quite well, and somebody comes in, especially a new person comes in and earns more money. Now, Koulibaly is a prime example. Koulibaly's on 275 grand a week.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he's started playing well now, but he wasn't, right?
Yeah.
Cucurella's on 250 grand a week, apparently. Right?
Mm.
I mean, Mudryk is on more money than Mason Mount. I mean, Mason Mount he's Chelsea. He is Chelsea. I'm sorry, and he deserves the money that he deserves. Money. You know, I think a fair salary for him would be 200 grand a week. I think he'd sign on the dotted line. On that, and I think Bodie should as well.
It'd be intriguing to know. Like, Temba, you got contacts. See if you can just find out from the finance team what's been offered. See if we can get some sort of baseline. Because I think it's interesting. Because if he's been offered like £200,000 a week, and he says, "Okay, if you're going to go win us, you're going to win us the league or qualifies for Europe, you get a massive bonus at the end." Like, surely that would be enough incentive to go out there and put the right shoe on the right foot and the left shoe on the left foot, and just start scoring. Surely that should be incentive enough.
Well, this is something also I heard someone earlier say is it's kind of tricky when you do get family members as part of your agents, because then it's more they look more at the other players. I feel like they want to compare, and they're more looking after their client in terms of, well, you saw it with Hudson-Odoi. His brother was his agent, and he was saying, "Oh, Bayern Munich are coming with this offer." Well, if you show your interest in keeping Cho, you offer him a high wage, otherwise we're definitely leaving. And there was a standoff between him and the Chelsea owners, and then eventually they gave him 120, 50k, whatever it was a week.
150.
So I feel it's the same. It will be the same here. The problem is we've given too many players high wages now. He makes them out, and his dad will sit down and look at that and think, well, Raheem Sterling's on 300k, Koulibaly's on 290k, deservedly or maybe not deservedly so. They still will look at it that way. People will say selfishly, "Oh, Mason Mount doesn't deserve 240 grand a week," but that's not what you think when you go into negotiations. At the end of the day, you look at what's in front of you, and the facts are that those players are on those wages. That's our own fault we've created now. Yeah. So it's either they have to give Mason Mount the high wage that him and his family or entourage want, otherwise he will be sold.
And it's not like we can't afford it. I mean, let's face it, we are still one of the richest clubs in the world. We've got all these players on this amount of money. We're expecting a mass clear out in the summer of our big squad, first team squad of 31. Like, what if I think maybe we're just being a bit too early, and there's potentially maybe in the summer when we shipped up some of the players that on the periphery, the Ziyech's and the Pulisic of the world, who was absolutely terrible against Leicester. When we ship those players out,
that as well.
Yeah.
Well, this is the presumption that we actually do get rid of those players, because the players we will. I think half or most of them will go, but there will be some that will be on high wages, and it depends on how much they want to move themselves to actually just get them.
Without a doubt, this is huge. Like, you look at Koulibaly. To be fair, I would keep him now. I think he's the last few games he has actually come into his own. But some of these players, I mean, look, Lukaku, for example, that is a real problem that we've got.
Yeah,
a huge problem there. We've got this guy who's on 325 grand a week. Right? He's on more money than anyone else at the whole of Chelsea.
Yeah,
and Inter Milan don't want to have him.
They do, but they don't want to pay the wages that he's on. That's the issue.
And he doesn't. And why should he drop his wages? I mean, this is where it's so stupid. It's such a stupid situation that we put ourselves in. That's one problem. Pulisic is another problem because he's on huge wages. Ziyech is on okay wages. I think Ziyech will go. I'm pretty sure he'll go.
Yeah, I think Ziyech wants to play. Like, I think he'd rather play. I'm fairly certain
Kovacic will probably go.
I'm fairly certain he would have taken a pay cut to go to PSG at that point, and I think he just wants to play. Kovacic, I think he's off in the summer. I'm not sure about Pulisic. I'm really not. Like, of the three, of the three, I'd rather keep Kovacic. I'd rather keep him. For covering midfield, because we are a little bit light in the centre of the park unless we bring other players in the summer.
High wages.
Sorry?
You've got
exactly.
Wages.
And Loftus
He's on more wages than Mason Mount. I mean, that's the biggest joke.
But you have to factor in they're at different stages of their career. And but they're in different stages of their career, and Loftus-Cheek was offered that contract under Abramovich. It's completely from the squad team up, we are a completely new club. So we have to remember that. It's a completely new club. We have to remember that. Okay, so if it was offered before then, they're not comparable now because it's different ownerships. Different ownerships have got different business plans. Bowley's got a different business plan to Abramovich's. Right. Anyway, Mason Mount chat. All right. Quite simply, boys, Mason Mount, keep or go. Keep or cash in. Keep or cash in.
I'd say keep, and the reason it's not even on his ability. It is, but it's also on the fact that he's. If we just go and offload everyone this summer, we've got no one who remembers that we won. We won the Champions League. What was it 3 years ago? 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Right?
Yeah.
And nobody in that squad who's left. We need to have some baseline of these sort of players, okay? And not just that. He's from the academy. It motivates the academy players to look at it and go, I can make it. I can make it. And we need to keep that in the squad. It's only him and Reece James at the moment and
Ruben.
Sort of. I mean, and Gallagher sort of. But
Gallagher's
these are sort of. These are players that are probably going to get shifted.
Yeah.
More than likely. Chalobah.
Chalobah.
But it's nice to see, isn't it? Cobham boys coming through. Do you not agree? It's nice to see that, and we have to encourage that. Because if you look at Barcelona, for example, Barcelona have always had this. They churn out these great players, and some of them are like even Messi, for example, right? He turned up at Barcelona when he was 15, 16. So you could consider him an academy player.
I think he was younger than that. I think he was 11.
So he's a child boy. He could be considered an academy player, couldn't he?
Yeah.
And we've got to carry that on.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a contrast, and it obviously was kickstarted by the transfer ban, and Frank Lampard had no options but to sign. He brought those players into the squad. But yes, so Charlie, pay the wages. Tem, what would you say? I'm going to give you a scenario.
Okay.
Barcelona release an economic lever for the millionth time. And they release some funds, and they come in the summer. And Mason Mount's just decided, you know what, I want 350,000, or I'm walking. Barcelona come in and offer 60 million. Do you take it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a straightforward answer. I don't think anyone really thinks Mason Mount should be on 350k a week.
Yeah,
I think what I would be happy for him to be on is no more than 250.
Yeah.
I think that's where the club should probably push their limits. People say, "Oh, that's a bit ridiculous. Maybe he shouldn't be as much on as Reece James." But for different reasons, I think they both should be around on the same amount.
Yeah,
and one's an attacker, one's a defender. At the end of the day, it just depends how you really feel about Mason Mount. But I think it's completely fair. If he asks for 240k, 250k a week, I don't think, with our current structure, why that's out of the realms of possibility of why that's ridiculous. In a sense.
I think I'm not Fabrizio Romano. I don't know the ins and outs, but I'm fairly certain it's all down to he will get that amount, but it's on performance based, and I think he just wants that as a base.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we've spoken too much about Mason Mount now. We're 35 minutes into this week's podcast. Let's change tack. So we had a couple of things we wanted to discuss this week. So we're going to move on to our talking point of the week. Now, we had a few ideas floating around at the moment of what we could ask and what we could discuss, our favourite home kits. But what we're going to discuss our favourite Chelsea goals. Did you want to, what are we doing? Are we doing in terms of technical ability or a performance or the actual like the significance of the
I
goal?
think
What we're gonna
today do technical ability because it's
on
Yeah,
technical ability.
technical
All right.
ability.
Okay. So, all right, let me just think which ones I had because I had a few. All right, technical ability alone. All right, we'll start with Charlie and give us a bit of background into it and why you think it's going to be like technically your favorite goal and what were close runners up for you.
Okay, so this is a goal in I think it was 1999 season. A lot of the guys on the chat can probably look it up. It was Gus Poyet versus Sunderland. I think it was the first home game of the season. It might have been the first game of the season, to be honest. I think we won 5-0. And Gianfranco Zola took the ball down from I'd be lying if I said who played the ball into him, and then he just flicked it up, and it was a bit like it's actually quite
like
similar
Enzo.
to the Leicester, to the Enzo Havertz goal, but Gus Poyet just slammed this one in De Canio style, and that was my number one. I have a number two as well, and I have a number three. Eden Hazard versus Liverpool in the Carling Cup, Sorry, 2017, I think it was, where we were. I think it was 2-2 or 1-1, and he just cut in on the right hand side, took on a couple of players, banged it in the corner. That was number two, and then number three.
I'm just trying to find it. My memory's so bad. I'm like the opposite to Tembo.
I think it might be 2019. Actually, I remember it was a
2019. Yeah.
He's picked up. It's one.
I was obviously in the pub when I watched it. I can't remember.
Oh, he's picked up on the right. He's weaved in and out, smashed it in. Oh yeah, no, that's
it's a classic goal.
Oh, it was a great finish. Why can't I remember this? It was only like 4 years ago.
Mario Stanic versus West Ham. I'm going for
Mario Stanic is a name I've not heard in ages, and literally you type in Mario Stanic into YouTube and you get Mario Stanic, and the first one is Chelsea West Ham. All right, I'm gonna watch it now.
On his debut, this was.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, seen it.
Oh, stop it! Oh my word!
Pretty poor defending.
Shocking.
Didn't try and press him at all, but it was a classic goal.
I don't know who it is. I'm not sure who the left back is. It might be. Is it Stuart Pearce?
It's probably like
Petrescu, isn't it?
Nah, it was left back, not for us.
West Ham.
He's literally looking. He's literally. No, it's for West Ham. The left back for West Ham.
Be, Julian Dix probably.
Nah, this dude's got hair. Yeah, he's definitely. Maybe it's Stuart Pearce, but this guy's literally looking back at the goalie as he's like dribbling up. Like he's made no attempt to even like get anywhere near close to the ball.
It was embarrassing how he managed to literally do kick-ups for 5 seconds and no one went anywhere near him.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, it was schoolboy, but yeah, those are my three.
Those are your three. I can't even. Tem, we'll throw across through to you. So talk us through your technically three good goals and try and give a bit of background on when it was, because you're the historian and I'm going to have to Google these because I genuinely cannot remember. Unless I see it, I can't remember. I barely remember the goals from like a month ago. Yeah, there was no goals a month ago, to be fair, but I can barely remember them from earlier this season. There was one. What a goal it was!
It was a good goal.
It was a great goal. Go on, talk us through it then, Tem. You're technically good.
Okay, so this was one I was privileged to see live, and it's Hazard versus Arsenal. I think the best goal I've.
Oh, that was a brilliant goal. From the halfway line. Were you there?
Under the Conte season when we beat him.
Excellent.
Right.
Was it 2-0?
I'm gonna watch 3-0.
3-1.
3-1. From the halfway line.
Oh yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah.
And the Arsenal players must have all been on yellows.
Who for Arsenal that game?
William.
Good question.
No.
Gabriel.
Played for Chelsea.
Play for Chelsea. In
Nah,
it's a bit too late.
Oh,
good trivia. Better check. Is it David Luiz?
No, he played for Chelsea after.
Oh, he played for Chelsea
Giroud.
after? Oh, Giroud.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I forgot about that goal. That was a great finish.
Yeah, so that one I'd say is the best goal I've ever seen. Ever seen.
I feel like for the
when you were there live though, did you realise how good a goal it was?
No.
Well, I take it with the Matthew Harding. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can. So it's coming towards you. Like
yeah, you sort of like just go on as he's running with the ball, but
you knew how good it was. Like when it went in, you were like, that is
I
it.
think the roar you heard there was not so typical of, even when you score against a big team. It was like everyone was just in shock, sort of thing. What are they just seen live? I would say, that's definitely the best goal I've ever seen.
I mean, I think we've also got Hazard. I'm just typed in Hazard goals. Anyone remember the goal against West Ham in the league from like 2019?
Yeah, that was
he
brilliant.
Picks
goal.
the ball up,
1-0. Yeah,
and he like. I don't even know the fastest feet in the West. Like, I have no idea how he managed to do that.
I think that season, he was probably, I would argue, the best player in the world that season. There was one season where he, I think it was his last season when we won the Europa League.
It was.
He scored that goal. I think he scored the Arsenal goal. I think he also, or that might have been the year before, but there was a goal at Anfield that he scored in the league, and it was towards the end of the season. I don't know if everyone remembers this one. And he literally just danced from the halfway line and just slotted it in the corner. It was a bit of a nothing. It's a bit of a dead rubber game. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it
it was
really
a
mean
1-1.
a lot.
That was under Hiddink.
Yeah, it didn't really mean anything. It was a bit of a nothing game, but the cop who are rare, they hate us. I mean, let's face it, they really don't like us.
Yeah,
there was a few. If you actually watch that goal again, you can actually see a few guys in the cop clapping, and they do. To be fair with Liverpool, they do clap good football. I'll give them that. And that was an excellent goal.
yeah. I think I'm just trying to think of mine. Technical goals. So I had a few. Okay. Oh, sorry, go on, Tem.
Sorry, I forgot to add these two in. The second one, I would go. It's a bit of a classic goal, but I think it doesn't get enough credit. Is Drogba versus Spurs in the League Cup semi-final? Spurs. I don't know if any of you guys remember this.
No, like I said,
I remember.
I don't even remember what I had for dinner
at Wembley.
Yeah, we beat them 5-1, 2012.
At Wembley.
2012, yeah, at Wembley.
The game on the left top corner.
Watching it now.
Yeah. I think
Matic scored as well.
Not get enough credit.
And Matic scored as well.
Yeah,
I'm watching the same game. Yeah. I remember it.
Boys,
yeah,
I think for the benefit of people that don't have memories like mine, I feel like I'll just give a bit of background. So, it's picked up deep. Ashley Cole, and he's turned it. He's found Lampard, sprays it long, straight down to Drogba, controls it with his belly, flicks it with the outside of his right foot to the left, and bangs it with his left foot to the top left corner. It is absolutely sublime. I completely forgot about that goal.
Yeah, and people often think about Drogba as being this hold-up striker, but honestly, on the half turn, he was also amazing. Remember that goal he scored against Liverpool back in 2007?
Yeah, I was going to say
did the same thing. Exact same thing, but
he's done it like there's probably 3 or 4 goals that he scored for Chelsea exactly like that.
And Barcelona, yeah.
Barcelona goal, Barcelona goal.
All right, boys. Here's a bit of trivia for you. Okay, which defender? Okay, so they're two ex Chelsea players. So name the defender that he holds off, and name the player he scores past.
William Gallas and Carlo Cudicini.
Damn, you're like the oracle, man. Like your knowledge is.
he actually? I didn't realise that.
Yeah,
William Gallas, really?
Yeah, I remember
Bodies Gallas. Yeah,
I remember being around my cousins watching that game. That was the one where is that the same one where Matic scored the?
No. It's the game where Lampard scored for a free kick. Like he hit it across the goal to Cudicini's far side, or was it Larissa that time in goal?
Yeah,
I don't know. He misstepped the keeper and he put it like far corner. You can rewatch it yourself, Tom or Charlie.
Yeah, I'm sure I can.
I need to. Yeah. All right. So you had another one. What was the other one?
And my last one, just because I remember it while watching on TV, was also SEN against.
Is this the one against Arsenal? Barcelona. Which is this the volley?
Yeah.
The volley.
Yeah. So this was one of mine that I was going to pick. To be fair. But I'll give a bit of background to it. So it starts deep. Petr Cech sprays that long ball, fires it across through. headed on by Drogba down to the left, and Malouda. I think it's Malouda. Yeah, it's Malouda
Yeah,
picks
It
it up
would
there.
be.
And then
Malouda.
Lampard tries to put in a cross, doesn't he? And it
Yeah, he
fails.
tries to put it. Yeah,
Yeah, Iniesta puts it out.
I think it comes off Yaya Toure, and then on the left
Right.
peg, Michael Essien. Oh my gosh, that left peg, because Essien isn't exactly did he just explicitly score screamers? I don't remember him actually scoring goals that were just like.
I was watching
tap-ins.
a goal the other day where he was playing centre back. It was under Mourinho actually, and he
Yeah.
decided just to run up against Watford. I think it was, yeah, and he just decided to run up, 1-2'd it with the left back. It went out wide, and he got in the box and finished it off himself.
Jeez.
The goal against I was at that game, the Barcelona one, and I was at the Arsenal one as well when he scored that goal's Sonomic. Obviously, that's probably I would argue that goal was probably better than the Barcelona one purely because of the occasion.
Yeah,
but the Barcelona,
one.
it was the most depressing match I would say in Chelsea's history.
Is that the one? Is that the? It's a disgrace.
Well,
Yeah.
it was the Iniesta last minute goal. I mean, it was. I think I've never come out of Stamford Bridge and felt so sick. I mean, there was people. It was just anger. There was a lot of anger.
I remember watching that game live.
We did play quite well that game, and we deserved to win. And the referee was a clown, but.
Was it Anders Frisk, or am I thinking is that a different one?
No,
it was the bowl. It was the bowl. It was a Norwegian.
Something like that.
Oh yeah, I think
the
something like that.
Didn't he retire soon after?
Yeah, Anders Frisk was the one.
I think there were some like knobhead Chelsea fans that decided to send death threats.
Yeah. He received death threats, but he did come out with an interview. I can't remember what he said though. I don't want to misquote him, but I'm sure he said that he should have given a few decisions Chelsea's way, but on the night he didn't quite. So God knows.
Do you remember Balak and Nelka?
I love down, screaming in his face.
Drogba. I mean, it was just Anyway, right, Tom, so your three best
technical strikes. Well, technical strikes. Well, one of them was going to be the Essien goal against Barcelona, the volley. All right, but it did make me think of another Essien strike, the one that we've already previously discussed against Arsenal, 2006. Again, Lampard passes out wide, and then it's taken. I think it was Robben, maybe. Is that too soon? But like Lampard plays it off and outside of the boot for Essien, and he hits it. It comes across him, and he hits it whilst running, and he's still running as he hits it. He just runs through the ball. That's why he was he called the Train?
Yeah,
like, absolutely outside the boot, and then absolute rocket to the right of was it Jens Lehmann? It must have been Jens Lehmann.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, absolute rocket. Like the technique to get that one. I don't know about you, but when you play football, when you got that ball that rolls across your foot, I mentally think Essien straight away. Like I think in my head, I'm like who used to shout like your favorite players when you're younger, like Zola. My head whenever that is just Essien, but that's one of them. I can't really think of I can't specify like a specific goal. It's so hard.
When the ball rolls across your shin, you know that it's only going to happen once every 20 times or something. Like it's going to be it's not going to happen every time. And that, I mean, what he did there, bearing in mind we were 1-0 down at the time, and just to get that equaliser.
Right. My other goal. Now, I'm not sure if many people will agree with me on this one, but in terms of like, I remember thinking at the time, I messaged my friend and I went, best goal ever. Like literally best goal ever. And it's nowhere near it, but for me, it was so good. So it was in 2012 and it was the semi-final against Barcelona. We had John Terry sent off earlier in the night, albeit a bit harshly. Maybe I'm looking through rose-tinted glasses when I say that.
I know the goal you're talking about now.
It's one of my favourite goals, and it's by a player that just, again, very underappreciated for like in terms of like his contribution for Chelsea. But it's the Ramirez goal, and it's in the second half. And is it? It's the goal. I've got highlights. I don't even know where it's come from. I'm just trying to talk forever.
It was wasn't it a random ricochet that somehow
Again,
to him. I can't remember.
Nah.
It was
it's picked up by Lampard.
and
Yeah.
Lampard
Through
played
ball,
Lampard
and then as the,
dispossessed.
Yeah.
No.
Xavi,
Different one.
guessing.
Sorry, I think Lampard.
Mascherano
Yeah, Mascherano
Mascherano.
tries to tackle Lampard and he falls on his ass and
bodies
then
him through ball. Ramirez running through, and the fact it's so hard to chip a ball when the ball's running away from you as well. So technically, like that for me, and he just lobs the ball. I remember it's absolutely perfect. Like hits that, like just drops just before the net. It's such an aesthetically pleasing goal, and it was that to go 1-0 up as well.
No,
And that was
it
the
was
game.
1-1. I think we were 1-0 down at the time with 10 men.
yeah.
We were basically on our arse. Like we were finished. Like
no, actually, I think that was to level the game. Yeah, 2-2. That was.
Oh, it was
no, but
insane.
I think we were
2-0 down. We'd won the previous.
We won
game
the first leg 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, and then
a Drogba scored.
That
and
was
then
to equal the tie.
Yeah, to equal the tie. We were 2-0 down. Yeah, because that guy, what was his name? The chicken. I can't remember his name.
The chicken.
Yeah, the guy with the blonde hair. He's sort of like he did the celebration like a chicken. What was his name? He was like a Brazil
in that game.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. As soon as John Terry got sent off, they went up and scored, 100%.
The
or it
two
might have
goals
been a
for
different match.
them, I think, were Busquets, maybe.
It was 2. It ended 2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2-2
so
on
Torres
the night.
scored the second goal, obviously.
Yeah,
I think it was Busquets and Iniesta who got the goals for them.
The second goal.
I'm looking now.
Some
I'm
bloke
sure it was
he did a
Iniesta.
chicken celebration. 100%.
I'm sure it was Iniesta who got that second goal.
Busquets and Iniesta. And we were, sorry, to give background, we were 2-0 down on the night. We had Terry sent off just before as well. Ramirez scored that in injury time, which was, the first half was a perfect
that
time
would
to
have
score.
sent us through on away goals, yeah.
That was
we were going through anyway, and then Messi scored missed the penalty.
Yes.
Against Czech.
And it's insane just because we were under the cosh for the whole game, and then it obviously led to that fantastic moment. I still think it's one of my favorite bits of commentary. It's like that. Oh,
I would argue the
unbelievable.
I would argue that Torres, that moment, when when that ball just from Ashley Cole just gets lofted up. I would argue it's one of the most the best times ever you can ever watch Chelsea. When you can just see Torres in on goal.
I think
and that it doesn't matter, even if he misses, it's irrelevant. But if he does score, it's just gonna be, do you know what I mean? It's it's like the inevitable doom. There's a scale that's just going down in your head.
I honestly think that goal I had more joy than us actually winning the Champions League.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was, but
I love that. I love that goal.
Just felt like pure joy and relief. I couldn't believe what we'd actually done that night.
Yeah. One thing I got to say. All right, I don't even know if I've told you this, boys, but the Champions League final in Munich.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game.
Wow.
You're a disgrace.
Wow.
I'm leaving this channel now.
Yeah. Not through choice. Not through choice. I had an event literally that night, and I couldn't swap it, and I was trying to find Sky Go, and the bar that I was in, because it was a social event, didn't have Sky Sports, and the time I found out how Chelsea won, it wasn't through, because I was in Frome, I think it was, in Somerset, and I found out because I was then driving onwards to Devon later that night. I found out on the radio that Chelsea had won it, and I'd missed the whole game, and there was no signal in that venue. There was no Wi-Fi in the venue. I know it's 2012, but there was no Wi-Fi in the venue because it was such an old venue. But I'd never seen that, and that's my one regret, that I never watched that game live. So I made sure I watched the 2021 live.
Oh,
I regret that.
Dale, the goal Dale has brought up, that's also another great shout, to be honest.
Which goal was that? Which goal? Who was it against?
Frank Lampard.
No, Oscar in the Champions League.
Against Juventus.
So
how do you guys all remember this?
Does a little Cruyff turn and puts it top.
Tom, I'm an alcoholic, right? And I remember everything.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I remember this now. I remember this completely. That chop, because it goes past Pirlo.
I think it was his first ever goal for Chelsea.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it was one of
Yeah.
them. It was certainly
And that
one of
kit-
them.
That kit was so nice as well with the gold. Oh yeah. Oh, stop it. Behave. Yeah, I remember that goal. Pirlo's looking at him like he just done Pirlo. That was insane finish. Yeah, great shout, Dale. That's a fucking great goal.
And also, I think just one last one. Hasselbank's left foot shot against Spurs, where he scored the
Well, and
perfect
there's hat trick.
Yeah.
There's a better Hasselbank goal against Huddersfield in the FA Cup. There is actually, genuinely, I think it was Huddersfield in the FA Cup for
Yeah, you're
5-0, and he literally scored from 35 yards out. Hasselbank, like that geezer, his
he's
shot,
great.
his right foot was like a
rocket. Yeah.
I've never seen anyone hit the ball.
Oh, that
harder than
left foot,
that.
that Hasselbank left foot strike is insane.
So
The
that
first
game,
goal was good as
the
well.
Tottenham hat trick, he scored one with his head. He never used to score games with his head ever.
You
Hasselbank,
can't.
but
You can't
I
score
think
games
he
with
did
your head.
by accident, and he scored one with his right, one with his left. It was like the perfect hat trick.
All right, but I gotta say, all right. So another one of mine. We're just thinking of like really technically good goals now. So we can't talk
Go
about
on, then.
technically good goals. We've got to talk about the Zola goal.
Oh yeah.
The FA Cup against Norwich. Was it like 99 or something like that?
No, 2004.
Oh, was it later than that?
No,
2003.
No, he left in 2003. He left before Abramovich came in.
2003. This is the last season. 100%. It was the season when he was the top scorer in 2003, 2004. 100%.
2002. So you got it wrong.
I'm sure it was 2002. Oh, 102 season.
Cross from the side, near post,
I got it half
back
right.
flip. Oh, unbelievable. What a goal. What a finish. What a
Big
man.
question is who played the cross?
Graham
Lasso?
Graham Lasso. I've just seen it. So shit.
right.
I should have just lied. I went, oh god, who was on corners then in 2002? Yeah, Graham Lasso. Vince not his FA Cup finish. I'm trying to think of other like really good, like technically good Chelsea goals. I keep thinking about that Oscar one. So I remember thinking that at the time. It was so good.
Drogba versus Bolton.
Lampard versus Barcelona.
There was Drogba versus Bolton, where it was him, Anelka, Deco link up and score.
Oh, Deco. All right, hang on. Won the
Schürrle
goal.
versus Burnley.
I'm going to talk it through here. It's on the people. I'm going to talk it through the. Oh, that is a great goal. That was Fabregas' first game, wasn't it?
Team goal.
That was Fabregas' first game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Debut for Diego Costa and Fabregas and Schürrle.
That's a great shout. Great goal. I remember thinking that's unbelievable finish. All right, so let's talk. So I don't remember this Drogba goal, but it's picked up on the left by Anelka.
I'm sure he was offside though.
Which one's this?
Drogba versus Bolton.
Oh, Drogba's offside. Yeah.
Yeah.
VAR's ruling that one out.
Oh, he's miles offside. It's incredible.
He's offside. All the Bolton players got their arms up as well, but that was such a deft touch from Deco as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Lampard meant that, but it looked aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, yes. Now, I'm still going to say that Fabregas-Schürrle, the Schürrle combination against Burnley is better than that one.
Oh, okay.
Di Matteo versus Arsenal. Carling Cup. I'm going to go for the Carling Cup 1998.
Di Matteo Arsenal League Cup. Because I think it was called the Worthington Cup then. Was it Carling Cup or Worthington Cup then?
No, League Cup. League Cup 1998.
Scores a
This was Viala's first game in charge.
That was a rocket.
Incredible.
Is it just me, or does it feel like all the stands, like the Matthew Harden stands, are a lot further back in these pictures?
No.
And another one which wasn't a great goal, but in terms of importance, Wayne Bridge against Arsenal.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not technically good goal.
Okay. All right. Okay.
No, this is for next week. Next week we're going to have we've just
John
Onorisa is going to make an appearance next week.
We've already discussed the Torres goal at the end, like in terms of importance.
Okay, I think I have one more. Diego Costa versus Maribor.
Mate, I just want to have a look at this goal again from Wayne Bridge.
Oh,
I need to see this again. I'm just watching it now. No, I know, but what a play. Jesper Gronkiar. Remember him?
No, it's Good Johnson. Good Johnson gave him the 1-2.
Nah, it was good Johnson, but it's Jesper Gronkiar that picked up on the right.
Yes.
What a
big
finish.
Gronkiar.
Wayne Bridge. Well, he's so happy. No idea Terry shagging his ex-missus. Anyway, what was the other goal?
Sorry, I'm just trying to remember. Was it
Diego Costa against Maribor
versus Maribor? I think I was at this game.
It was in the Champions League. I can't remember who it was against.
You said Maribor.
It might have been Maccabi Tel Aviv.
I think I was at both these games.
You're such a jester.
This was the season that I had a lot of extra money.
Yeah,
and I was going to
Maccabi Tel
Chelsea.
Aviv.
Is this the volley?
Yep.
No, that's rubbish.
Oh,
That's
no.
all. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's all right.
Oh, Fabregas again, obviously. Fabregas, such an underrated Chelsea player. He was only with us for 5 years, but what a few years.
Could we do
5 years? I reckon he's with us
Yeah.
for 3 years.
Could we do opposition goals against us, possibly?
All
Nah,
right,
save
go on
it
then.
for another time. But I think.
Yeah, I mean next week, not today. Not today.
Henderson.
I need to think about it because I don't remember them. Like,
Henderson.
No,
Try and block them
remember
out.
you.
I would say Henderson.
I just block them all out. Right, boys. So we've got to try and
Charlie
think.
Adam.
Yeah, I was at that game.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Let's move forward, boys. So we've got our goals. Let's talk about going forward. 3 on the bounce this weekend. It's Chelsea versus Everton, home game, evening kickoff. Should be slightly light against Everton. What are we thinking? Are we going to make it 4 in a row? Let's move to our new resident negative person, Temba. We'll start with you.
Jesus. Here we go.
We'll start with you,
I
Tim. What
expect
do you
us to win,
think?
actually. I expect us to win.
Do you expect us, because you didn't expect us to win against you thought it'd be tight against Leicester, like 1-1, maybe like a 1-0.
To be fair, it should have been 3-2. It should have been 3-2.
It should have been 3-2, but let's it's done now. There's no point crying over spilt milk. What do you reckon is going to be against Everton at the weekend?
I'm going to go for a 2-1. I think we win 2-1.
You think Everton's got the firepower to score against us?
Yep. I think from set pieces, there's still issues with us defensively. I don't think we're that solid to keep a clean sheet. I'm not so confident, like I say, with us defensively. I think we will. Yeah, we'll concede 1 and it'll be 3-2. I mean 2-1. Sorry.
Okay, 2-1. Let's move across to the new Mr. Positive, Charlie. Charlie, what do you reckon? Chelsea versus Everton at the weekend.
I think we'll probably lose 7-0. No, I'm joking. No, I think it's look. We're on a bit of a run. I think it was a good thing that Everton won at the weekend, and a lot of people don't realise that it's a good thing because at least they've pulled themselves sort of a little bit out of the bottom 3. I think are they out of the bottom 3? Just about.
I don't know.
Sort of.
Table.
So basically, the point I'm trying to make is that they don't need the result. They've got a bit of a hard run of the game. I think they're playing Man United after. Yeah, so they're playing Man United after this, and they're playing Arsenal after that, I think, or Tottenham or something like that, right? But
so they'll be back in the relegation.
Yeah, but I still think that we need the result a lot more than them at the moment, and I think that we'll win 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm inclined to. I think we're going to win. I don't think we'll concede, and I think we won't get as many as we did against Leicester, but I think we'll get 2. I think we'll get 2. I think it'll be 2-0 Chelsea. I'm fairly positive. What I'm just doing, I know this is the We Talk Chelsea podcast, but have you seen how tight it is at the bottom?
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. How good's the Premier League? Like, it's so insane. Like, anybody can pick up points anywhere, but if you look here down, from 12th down to 20th, there's 5 points in it.
Yeah, and but that just shows you as well how much these teams at the bottom can beat the teams at the top.
Yeah,
that's what, there has to be a balance, right? So we need to be careful of these sort of Evertons and these sort of teams. But it just shows you if you can go on a little run. If we can go on a little run, right? Next 5 games, let's say, go unbeaten. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to ask. Okay. I think that we can push for a top 6. I really do. I think top 6. I think it's really doable if we try. Oh, you can laugh your head off, but I
I'm not
was the
laughing.
negative one. I was the negative one.
I'd like it to happen, but I'm looking at the games in front of us. I'm looking at the clubs around us. Like Fulham's the only team in front of us that have got played more. Like if we win our game in hand, we go above Fulham. But you've got Brighton on 24 games, so they've got 2 games in hand on ourselves, so 2 points ahead of us. Realistically, we need to beat Brighton, and then you've got Liverpool.
We're going to play
3 points
Brighton
ahead
in a
of
couple
those.
of weeks, right? We're
We
playing
do,
Brighton
yeah.
soon at home, right? We should be. I think if it was another season, we'd beat them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we should beat them. Yeah. I think they'll slip up. Newcastle nearly slipped up at the weekend. Liverpool slipped up again at the weekend. United slipped up again at the weekend. Tottenham keeps slipping up. I just got a funny feeling that you'll see that we can go on a little run, right? And cup runs are always good. They're always good for teams, right? They give us a little bit of confidence, give us a little bit of credibility. And I've got a funny feeling if we get a nice little draw in the Champions League, if we can get Benfica or Inter Milan or AC Milan, something like that, right? I think we can do them over 2 legs, and I think we're going to win the Champions League.
You think we're going to win the Champions League? I think 100%. That's the only way we're going to get into the Champions League next season.
I don't think so. I honestly think on our day we have the credibility to win tournaments. Okay,
we do.
Liverpool are out of it.
I'm not doubting that we are inherently, like for the last 25 years, been a cup team. Let's face it, we're very good in cup competitions, albeit the last 3 FA Cup finals. Yeah, we are a good cup team, but I'm thinking in terms of the league itself and the teams around us. Like the thing that's in our favour is Brighton have to play Brentford in a couple of weeks, so there's points that are going to be dropped there. But realistically, you kind of want Brentford to win that game to, go leapfrog Brighton and kind of.
It's nitty picking. What you're talking, it's nitty picking. We need to win matches in front of us. All we have to do, right? We've got 36 points to get. Yeah, was it 12 matches left?
12 points, yeah.
Right, 12 times 3. What's that? 36. So 36. Basically, we've got 36 points to win. Yeah.
25.
What are we on? How many points? 36.
37.
37. Right. So we win 36. We're on 73. Yeah. Last year we finished on 75. Yeah, and we got in 3rd. Yeah. The team that was below us in 4th got 69 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can win every single game the rest of the season, we're going to be in the Champions League. It's a fact. It's not simple. Yeah. I'm not saying it's simple, but I'm just saying that's the task, isn't it?
There is a lot of variables. Like that's a common thing that you say when we're putting bets on at the weekend. There's a lot of variables, too many variables, and one of that's out of our hands. Realistically, it's possible, mathematically possible, but realistically, it's very unlikely. I think we can definitely. I think at a push, we could probably aim for top 6 at a push, but I think we're looking at 7th, and I think if we get 7th, I think that's all right. Anyway, boys, it's been an hour and coming up to an hour and 10 minutes. It's been a pleasure as always. We'll be back next week to talk through Chelsea versus Everton, hopefully discussing 4 in a row. Who'd have thought it? 4 in a row. It's not been done yet this season. Is this the time? I think so. Anyway, Tem, Charlie, everyone watching the stream, appreciate it.
Up the Chelsea.
Good night. Good night and God bless. Up the Chelsea.